Hello, Steve Endow. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. Very busy, Miss Tanya.
I know he was a little late for my MVP chat. I guess I'm not as important as I thought I was.
Priorities, right? Work comes first, as you always say.
Oh, yes, but we know that you will be on one of your podcasts and not doing your work, young man.
Hey, priorities, right?
I know. It keeps you making sure you're doing it. I get it.
Yes.
So you asked me last week, how do you get one of these fancy sweatshirts, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is
I
like
know.
super fancy.
I know. I even got permission. Thanks, Kurt and Jesper. So I
Wow.
am able to reproduce them, and that was what my MVP chat is about, actually.
Okay.
So I have started this. I have about four of them done. I have actually four more to do this week. So I'm just knocking them all out and then going to release them all. You actually, I haven't released any because you get to be my first.
Wow.
Aww.
Do
And
I
I'm
get to
sure you
choose
do you get to choose what?
like colors, style, or that's it?
Well, I guess you could, but
Okay.
no.
Never mind.
They're all gonna be the same.
Chef's choice.
I
Yes.
did get you a large, I think, on the shirt.
Okay.
All right. So Steve gets to be my first MVP chat person because Steve is actually the person who technically nominated me and on
Yep.
technically. And it was funny because I just had a conversation with Rob Del Prado, and he turned it around on me, and he's like, Tanya, what does it mean to you? And asked me all these questions, and I thought, oh, wow, oh, okay, well, I hadn't thought about my own questions, and I said, and he asked me who nominated me, and I said, Steve, and I went, well,
Long story.
kinda.
Yep. Yep.
Long story. Yeah. So, what I'm doing with these is just kind of promoting the MVP program. And I'm doing this to, just for, we have to do stuff for MVP. And I thought this was kind of a fun thing to do,
Okay.
easy to do, promotes the program, and kind of gets us all together. And I'm doing swag for everybody who is on the channel.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, that's
So
why I'm here.
I know you're just here for the swag. Well, you
Yep.
have to deal with me every day almost. Yeah, every day. All right, so awesome. And I know you've done some really cool stuff recently in the last few years because I've kind of been on your little Kurt tails following behind, the crazy one behind you.
Yep.
So I know what some of your answers are going to be on a few of these. So
Okay.
yeah. So, all right, awesome. So, Steve Endow, who is we're talking to for the MVP chat today. Everybody probably, Steve, you've been an MVP for what, 10 plus years?
Um, Looks like 12 years. I have to count. 12 years. Yes.
That's funny. Chinsky and I did the same thing. We're both like, I don't know how many pucks we have. We turned around, both of us,
Yep.
for counting.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I have 5 questions that I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
So they're pretty easy, just to kind of, tell everybody how
Sure.
you became an MVP, what it means to you, all that kind of good stuff. And we're going to start with this is part of the question. So, number one, we're going to say what motivated you to pursue the MVP program or award, and what does it mean to you personally?
Well, funny thing about that, I have an
I know.
unusual story, which you may know. I did not pursue the MVP program. I don't
Yep.
know how it was supposed to work or how it worked 12 plus years ago. I did not apply. I was not contacted. I was not invited. I didn't know anything about it. I just got this thing in the mail that said, oh, you're an MVP. I don't know who nominated me. There's no record of it. And so to this day, it is a mystery. So it could be I'm accidental. Like they messed up and accidentally sent me an MVP and they're like, they just didn't know how to revoke it. Kind of like, the guy with the red stapler in Office Space. So that's my
Love
story.
it.
It was back in the Dynamics GP days when I did a lot of blogging, posting on forums, and actually Victoria Uden and I would compete on posting in a certain forum of GP questions. So she probably thought I was kind of annoying. She's like, who is this Steve guy? But Yeah,
Yep.
after I think a couple years of doing that, Christina Geyer Phillips got me into blogging, conference speaking, presenting on GP, and yeah, so somehow I got inducted into the MVP club and kind of kept my head down and was quiet about it and didn't say anything because I literally no one told me anything about what was going on, and I slowly figured out what I was doing.
I think if anybody knows you, they're not going to label you as quiet.
Well,
Not in.
back then, now people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I got MVP," and everyone says congratulations. I was just like, I don't know what's going on, so I didn't say a word. And
He's like,
it's
I'm
been a
in
while, so I
case
don't
it's
remember.
in case I'm not supposed to be an MVP, I'm not going to say a word.
Right. And I was like, what is this? And then I would quietly talk to people, what am I supposed to be doing? Because no one told me. There was
That's
no
interesting.
I had no mentoring, I had no guidance, and so I just slowly asked around and tried to figure out what I was supposed to do.
Interesting. And that's where
Yep.
this kind of also came from too, because Kurt and Jesper, when we were in Denmark last year, said, hey, we are thinking about this mentoring program. And so I did join the mentoring program. Jen Claridge is actually my mentee.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and it was kind of cool. We got connected together and she's going to be on too. But so this is where this also kind of came, kind of the idea came from. So
I
it was
think
fun.
I think mentoring is super important prior to getting MVP so
Yes.
that you understand what you're doing, you get oriented, right? And we've done that, you and I, and then several
Yep.
other people. And I wrote up the process because I didn't have that. And it's a lot of things I wish I had known in advance. And it helps people understand what the commitment is, what they can or should or might want to do, and just makes it sustainable so someone doesn't get overwhelmed or stressed or burn out, which does happen. So,
Or they put their shirt on backwards. That's what Jen did.
oh, okay.
She was
Okay,
at,
cool.
it's a funny story. We were in EMEA and she put her MVP shirt, asked the MVPs because she was working the booth. And I looked at her shirt and I was like, honey, and it said ask the MVP right across her chest. And I was like, honey, I'm just going to let you know, first of all, your shirt's on backwards.
Aw.
So, yeah. So she was like, what would I do without my mentor? I'd be wearing my
That's
shirt
awesome.
backwards. So, yeah. So fun stuff. All right. So
Okay.
number two is how has being an MVP impacted your professional growth or career opportunities?
Yeah. On the one hand, I don't really know. I just do the stuff that I do, and I don't know how to measure the impact, but I would say the thing I think I notice or observe or value or benefit from is it opens up conversations among other MVPs, and you just kind of get introduced to things. You get invitations to things. We participate in conferences. We're on planning committees, and we chat with other MVPs, which is an incredible conversation on its own, right?
Yep.
And strangely, I think after I got used to it and got a little more comfortable with it and confident with it, I was just like, yeah, we can do this. And you just, it's like, you can just build stuff. So we just build stuff, right?
Right.
We have a BC and ski in Utah, right? We meet up before after conferences like at Dynamics Con. We say, hey, can we get a room to have an MVP meetup before or after the conference, right? We did that in I think it was Anaheim or something.
Yep.
So
it was.
It just it's almost like it empowers you to just be totally comfortable making requests and making things happen and forming groups and having invitations to talk about things. Doing this, right?
Right.
Doing live streams or recordings or blogs, and it just makes you comfortable getting out there and participating more.
Yep. And the career opportunities you may not necessarily notice. And I know none of us really
Yep.
do it for that purpose. But I think, Rob and I were kind of talking about it, that inadvertently what probably happens because people will say, hey, oh, that person's an MVP. I want to work with them.
I'm actually kind of curious. I don't know that most of the customers or partners I interact with know or care or recognize. It would be interesting to ask. I never introduce myself as an MVP, almost never, unless it's like on a podcast where I'm asked. But I generally
Right.
don't even mention it. And the one thing I will say that it doesn't force me to do, but it motivates me to do is be on top of things, to try, right? It's really hard to be on top of anything these days, but
It is.
to try and have good knowledge, good understanding, have expertise, speak eloquently, and be able to offer help. And I think people notice that and they're like, huh, okay, I didn't know that. Wow, that was helpful. Thank you. Or I'll just have a phone call. So an ISV asked me to join a call with one of their customers who's trying to figure out what's going on with the various Dynamics 365 products. And I'm like, sure. I jump on the call. I don't bill anyone. And
I know.
I get them. Yes. Inside joke.
Yes.
I get them oriented. We talk about things. I share what I can that neither the ISV nor their Microsoft partners shared with them. I'm like, I've done this before. Here's what you need to look out for. And at first they were like, who is this guy, Steve? And by the end of the call, they're like, wow, thank you. That was super valuable, because in over a year of working on the project, no one had shared this information with them. And
Wow.
they have been fighting with this for months. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm happy to help.
Right. And that's what we're kind of here for also. Yeah.
Right.
Volunteering time.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We've got number 3.
Okay.
And you do a lot of these. What aspects of the MVP community or resources do you find most valuable? And I know you use a lot of resources.
Wow. I'd be curious what resources you think I use.
Licensing.
I do use,
People.
we get some MVP benefits of like an Azure credit and a couple of, I think I get one Office license, E3 license, something like that. So we do get that, but for what we do in Business Central, we don't get a free Business Central paid license, right?
We might now.
Well, that would be nice. But I basically figure out how to utilize the free resources, because the challenge with me using licenses is it is not easy for just anyone to get those licenses, and the cost is sometimes prohibitive. So I try to find ways where I can say, hey, all of this is free. You can get started at no cost and start learning. So I figured out, and with help from Eric Hogard, how to get a free Business Central demo environment. And then they closed it off, and then I found another way. And so very low cost environment. VS Code is free. AL extension is free. I don't know about Copilot and the new AI development tools, but I try to find ways that, like, we work in El Salvador, $20 a month is a non-starter for most people in El Salvador. You cannot afford that for the average Salvadoran. So how can we make this free? So I do utilize some benefits, but in terms of the licenses, I try to use as much free as possible just to cater to the audience that I'm trying to share with. But I think in terms of the resources, I think it's more the conversations and connections and the trust in our group that we can ask for. We can make a request. And back in the day when Twitter was more widely used by the MVPs in BC, we had the joke that it's our global help desk, our global support desk 24/7, because I could post in the morning and the US would pick up. Then if I post in the evening, Europe picks up, and then Asia comes online, and we would have this rolling 24-hour conversation. And now we've moved to a private chat group, and we do the same thing. It's like, hey, Yes. And it's like, hey, I'm having this issue. And, we'll wake up and have 47 messages in the chat. And it's like, oh, okay. And we catch up. So I'd say those, we're able to request favors. And even if we don't make a request, we get offers of help. And it's really, really valuable because these are the top experts in the world. And so if you can see the caption under my name, Steve Endow, Wizard Guru, that's a joke, but the people that we interact with are literally the world-renowned experts on these topics.
Yes, and for people who are not MVPs who might be watching this is one of the things that I tell people at conferences, especially like on the MVP panels that we do, is if you ever have a question, come up and ask one of us. If we don't know the answer to that question, we're happy to, I'll reach out to Steve or Eric or AJ or whoever it is, and we'll put it on our chat, and somebody will be nerdy enough to dig in to get the answer.
I was just about to say that we absolutely love this stuff. We totally nerd out, and I am a super geek. And so if it's in my wheelhouse, like if you ask me about this glitch in fixed assets, I probably won't be able to help you. We're manufacturing or lots of other things. But when it comes to like basic dev stuff or Copilot or deploying a PTE or, an error with an extension or, weird stuff like that, it's like, okay, I'll look into it and happy to help anytime.
Yeah, as you're helping me right now. All right, last one. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I have two more. 4.
Okay.
Can you share an example of a project or initiative where your MVP status you feel has made a difference?
Ooh.
I know you kind of have a big project going on right now, too.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. So I, like I said, I don't typically lead with MVP. And that's just my choice. I tend to not use that title. I don't know how much recognition that gets me, but I would say that it has, over the years, given me confidence to be more assertive about making requests. So, as you know, I just called people up and emailed people out of the blue in El Salvador. I didn't know a single person in that entire country. And now we are working with one of the largest Microsoft consulting partners in the country in order to get trainee internships. In order to get trainee internships for the people we're working with in Berlin, El Salvador. And I don't feel self-conscious, embarrassed, nervous. I'm like, hey, I'm going to find good people. Can I send them to you? Would you be interested in like evaluating them and see if they would be interns at your company? And they're thrilled, right? And I just make it clear what I'm doing. They're like, wow, that's amazing. And just being crazy enough to do this type of stuff, I'm totally comfortable with it now. Yeah.
And you did that as an MVP thing originally, though. That was your plan to go down there
Excellent
to use it as a submission, though.
Yes.
That's how it started, but it didn't really, it didn't go that way.
It didn't last long, yes. So as MVPs, if someone is interested in this, we are asked to provide contributions to the community, and that takes all forms, right? It could be some people speak at conferences, some people do blogs, some people do live streams, some people help with the product development, product review, testing, you name it, behind the scenes, and you never know what contributions they might be doing.
Steve's an important person. Kids.
And so, yes, kids. And so as part of that, I figured, oh, well, let me see if I can do a Business Central training program in El Salvador. And one thing led to another through random events, and that turned into the ERP Center of Excellence in El Salvador. So it did start with the idea, hey, this would be a pretty wild, MVP contribution. And for various reasons, it took all sorts of crazy turns, and it turned into something 100 times bigger than I could have imagined.
But it's really awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Learned a lot over the last few years. A lot.
Understatement of the century.
We learned what do we call it? An electric shower, death shower. We
Death
learned what a
shower.
death shower was. So
And we
there you
learned
go.
why you want a 2,500 liter water tank at your office
Yes.
and
Yes.
a backup generator and rewiring the whole house. So,
Yeah.
yes, we're learning about Salvadoran building codes. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. We've learned a lot. So, all right. Last question is, what advice would you give someone who's aspiring to become an MVP? Run. No.
So the advice that I think is very common among existing MVPs is you do not want to become an MVP to become an MVP.
Yes.
And that seems counterintuitive, but it's if you enjoy doing things for the community, doing community contributions, whether that's helping on forums, blog posts, videos, speaking at conferences, whatever that is, if you just love doing that and giving back, then that's what being an MVP is. And if you contact someone, get mentored, get recognized, and get awarded, that's just icing on the cake. But, and part of the reason for that is we don't want to award someone an MVP and then they realize they can't sustain the contributions because they're busy or they have things going on and got to take care of kids or whatever, life happens and it's a lot of work. So we like to say that, hey, start doing the stuff you love to do, then you'll know it's sustainable. And after 1, 2, 3 years, then if it's of interest, say, hey, here's what I've done. Then you've got 48 months of history of community contributions that becomes your nomination. So that's the recommendation that I give. And I know it sounds kind of generic, but the last thing we want is to have someone rush to do contributions, get awarded, and then get burnt out in 6 months and then drop out because that doesn't help anyone.
Right. That doesn't help sustain the program and obviously.
And it's hard
make
on
it
them,
grow.
right? Like to get
Yes,
awarded
very
and then
much
not
so.
be able to renew, it's not the most pleasant experience. Sometimes that's voluntary, but a lot of
Right.
times it's just people realize they can't sustain the contributions that are being requested.
Yes. And for everybody out there too, there I'm going to say approximately 60 Business Central MVPs across the world.
Wow.
So there's
a lot.
not very, yeah. Well, I think there's not very many of us personally.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
relative to what I'm used to, that's a lot of people. So, yeah, it's
Well,
a very
and
large
GP
MVP group.
I think GP was kind of a little bit different maybe because it was only US based if we really think about
Correct.
that,
Right, yeah.
So that is a much smaller, swimming pool to be in where that's across the world. And for me,
Yeah.
I think that's what's awesome is, you and I both now, we know more people all over the world now more than I have in the last 10 years of my life, just by
Absolutely.
that particular community. I mean, we can go to Denmark and run into somebody, and to the UK, right? It doesn't
Yep.
matter where we are. We run into somebody
Yep.
that we know. So
Yeah,
I think
from-
that's what's awesome.
Poland to
Yeah.
Thailand, Spain, we could drop in a country and have someone visit. So it's pretty wild. And when
Yes.
someone has an issue, we always have to say, what region is it in or what country is it in? Because everyone's from around the world and we can't assume that if there's a problem in, Thailand, that it affects the US. So it's pretty funny to do that as well.
Yes. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. Do you have any final
Thank
words
you.
that you would like to give to the program or anything else?
I would say, MVP, no MVP, just contribute, do what you like, find something you enjoy and pursue it. And I do the things I do not for an audience or for someone else. I do it because it's just what I feel motivated to do. And so I do a Friday live stream. I don't know who watches, but
A
I
lot of
just do
people.
it because I enjoy it. And, you know, it keeps me on my toes, forces me to learn new things and document it and share it. And that's just what I enjoy doing. And I think I'm approaching 200 live streams over the last 5 years. And, yeah, so it's been fun.
Yes, and if anybody, Steve and I started like, well, it was 5 years, going on 6 years in May. And if you
Yeah.
remember the two blind mice, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I go back and watch this periodically, and I just kind of laugh, just like, oh my gosh, that is so random. But it was good. We had a good time.
Yeah.
So, all right, great. Well, thank you
Okay.
so much. I really appreciate it. And like I said, you're going to be my first post because, you know, you were
Thank you, ma'am. I am honored.
my mentor, basically. So, all right, awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Gracias.